All right, so now we are at the first White House of the Confederacy. Here's the placard. We're going to zoom out here a little bit. Sorry, guys. So this says designated executive residence by the Provisional Confederate Congress, February 21st, 1861. President Jefferson Davis and his family lived here until the Confederate capital moved to Richmond, summer of 1861. Built by William Sayre, 1832 to 1835 at Bibb and Lee Streets. Moved to present location by the First White House Association and dedicated June 3rd, 1921. So here is the outside, what it looks like, and we will be walking inside. And Parker opens the door.
You also from Wisconsin? All right, fantastic.
Yes. Hello.
Now, yeah, hi. Now I know that's Michigan, but let's just pretend that's kind of Wisconsin. Where would Eau Claire be if
We're like
oh,
we're about an hour and a half from Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Oh,
So we're about an hour east of the border.
Okay, now they may call this the Bible Belt, but football is the religion. And so much, I understand you're going to be headed up to Ole Miss there.
Yes.
Yeah, hotty toddy, as they like to say in there. That'll be a great experience. And oh yeah, there's the Bears.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, about a half mile that away, at Sidney Lanier High School is where Bart Starr threw the football. Then Bart goes to U Alabama, and from U Alabama to up to Wisconsin. Yeah. But this home has nothing to do with that other than Wisconsin and Bart Starr. But this is kind of where it all began.
We're from the same group again.
Yeah, they're from.
Okay, also from Wisconsin. All
Yes.
right. Excellent. And the Davis, interestingly enough, is not a delegate over there where the 7 states met, Texas over to Florida. They all go out in their own way with either, some of the states will have a plebiscite, like Texas. Texas votes 70 to 30. This state does not have that. Tennessee also has that, so does Virginia. This more or less just has a convention here that where they more or less say, if Lincoln is elected, we're leaving. You know, it's more or less what they do here. They'll go out. The vote here is not unanimous either, though. It's anywhere in the South where you have mountains, they tend to be very much pro-union. So if you're sort of if you study at all the time period, you probably know this, that Andrew Johnson is a Southerner. He's from East Tennessee. And mountain guys. He's in Jefferson Davis's party, interestingly enough. He's not a Whig or a Republican. Andrew Johnson, much like him, is a Democrat. But Davis is more of a sort of a states' rights, John Calhoun kind of a Democrat. But the states will meet over here. Texas, the 30% that vote to stay in the Union, they've got something in common with Wisconsin. Of course, it's the Germans that vote to stay in the Union there. But Texas will come over here as well. They'll design sort of their sheet music. The minstrel song Dixie is kind of made into a tune here. They develop a flag, which today, interestingly enough, is Georgia's state flag. It's the old Stars and Bars. But Davis will come over from Natchez. He planned on being a soldier in the war, but he'll accept the presidency, probably because he was very active up in Washington. He was a true Washingtonian and even helped design the U.S. Capitol. Very good book called Freedom's Cap.
You're
welcome,
we
guys.
do it every second.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for dropping by.
Yes, sir.
Is the seminar done?
We got tomorrow.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. Conservation. So yeah, they'll be over here, but they're not going to be here long. They're going to vote over in the Capitol 24 to 20 to move up to Virginia. So many of the items are kind of Davis items that are in the house. We have a model of the Hunley. The Hunley was made in Alabama. They'll ship that over to Charleston Harbor, and that's the first time that a submarine sinks a ship. But sadly, the torpedo hasn't really been developed yet. The torpedo is hanging at the end of a long pole. Well, the blowback of 160 pounds of powder when they pull the lanyard, it sinks the Housatonic. Mission successful, but that reverberation from the explosion knocks the rivets off of the sub and down the Hunley goes. But anyway, there's a little model to that up there. People ask me, oh, was it a suicide? No, it was not a suicidal mission. They'd done enough dry runs to think that they would survive. Maybe in hindsight, maybe 30 pounds of powder at the end of that pole would have worked. I don't know, but I think the 160. But anyway, a lot of other interesting sort of Davis items throughout the house. Do you have any questions at all about the place? Built in 1834. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm Bob, and I'll be around, and let me know if you come and find me. Okay. Does anybody need a cold bottle of water?
I'll take one.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
Yeah, I'll go get those.
We can go upstairs, correct?
No, I got them in a pack. I got them in the plastic pack. But thank you, though, young man.
Yeah, we can go upstairs?
Oh, absolutely. The relic room is up there with that Hunley submarine model and all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. No, you're welcome. Also, Verena's New York City Apartments at the top of the stack.
Wonderful.
Us Southerners will move to New York City after this war. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to go up the stairs.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I don't see very little picture of anything.
No.
Yeah.
This is a huge bedroom.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
This is called the relic room. That's kind of interesting. See the money? Oh, thank you. Here's the model of that submarine he was talking about, I think. Yeah. Ooh, look at those pretty earrings. Washington. Oh, it does look like the Washington Monument.
It might be gone now.
Can you hold that a second for me? Pretty please with sugar on top.
Is it not the Confederate obelisk or something?
It's called the Jefferson Davis Monument. It's in Fairview, Kentucky. It says at 351 feet high, it is the tallest poured concrete obelisk in the nation. Completed in 1924, it marks the birthplace and honors the memory of Jefferson Davis, the first and only president of the Confederate States of America.
It's so cool.
This says gunboat quilts, it's called. The quilt that rests upon the bedroom bed and the smaller one here was made in 1861 by Miss Martha Jane Dixon Hatter of Greensboro, Alabama, commonly referred to as gunboat quilt. Both quilts were auctioned off to raise funds for gunboats and items that were needed for the hospitals. Each quilt was auctioned off several times, with the winner donating the quilt back to the organization. In all, both quilts raised $1,000. In 1862, Alabama ended their pursuit to build a gunboat, and the money was used for the hospital in Selma, Alabama. Oh, look at the baby crib. This is the nursery.
Well, maybe not, because I don't think they would call it the relic.
No, I don't think so.
This is called the guest room. I just okay, so here I am downstairs. This is called the study.
Put three libertarians in a phone booth, and they'll fight each other to death over 10 ideas. And that's sort of what's happening here. All the states' rights and all the...
So that table there with like the blue screen lamp, it says, on this table Jefferson Davis wrote The Rise and Fall of the Confederate Government.
Was it Owsley? I can't remember the historian that said dying states' rights. I mean, they can't stand each other.
So they bought this place for Jefferson.
Well, they actually rented it. They rented it to Harrison. And Harrison and the Confederate government, said, well, we'll put him up. He's got to entertain people.
Needs some stuff.
Yeah.
Needs a headquarters.
Yeah, exactly. Needs a headquarters. Needs a headquarters.